Today I'm going to talk about Pineapple Street, a first novel by author Jenny Jackson. Now this book has received a lot of press and immediately became a top seller. The Stockton family comes from old wealth in Brooklyn Heights, New York. Chip Stockton is a real estate investor whose focus is amassing huge amounts of wealth, while his wife, Tilda, puts her focus on booking her next tennis match, planning theme parties, drinking wine, and deciding just what to wear to her next social commitment. They have 3 adult children. Darlie's the eldest daughter, who has married a man of Asian descent, and she's given up her entire education and career in order to stay home and raise their children. She also gave up her substantial inheritance when she refused to have her husband sign a prenuptial agreement. Cord is the middle child, a son who works with his father in real estate. He's married to Sasha, a woman who marries into the wealth, so to speak, and although she was raised in a middle-class family and certainly never wanted for anything, the gap between the rich and middle class is really quite obvious. In fact, no matter what she does, she's not accepted and is even ridiculed by the Stockton daughters, who call her the gold digger. Now, Cord and Sasha have been allowed to live in the traditional family home on Pineapple Street, but in order to uphold the Stockton status quo, they're not allowed to remove anything or make any renovations, so it's really like living in a museum. Sasha calls the family a closed circuit. Georgiana is the so-called baby of the family, and because she works in a non-profit agency, she believes that she's helping the less fortunate. And she doesn't see herself as spoiled, regardless of the fact that her apartment was paid for and she receives a monthly stipend from the Stockton wealth. The whole book is told with the main focus on the 3 key women, Darlie, Sasha, and Georgiana. Darlie is jealous of her brother and Sasha living in the house on Pineapple Street, and she reaches a personal crisis when her financial situation and future is threatened. The baby, Georgiana, makes a terrible relationship decision, which is the impetus for some personal introspection. Sasha despises living in the house on Pineapple Street and being in a situation where she feels she has no voice and no decision making. Meanwhile, Chip and Tilda go through life glossing over or brushing off issues as they live in their own little wealthy orbit. While it could be said that their adult children eventually experience some personal growth, they unashamedly don't change a bit. And for instance, when Tilda is asked if she ever felt ashamed for any of her actions, she responded that if she did, she would buy herself some flowers. The main themes of this book are the privilege of wealth, the gap between the ultra-rich and the rest of us, the secrets made to preserve the status quo, love that crosses boundaries, and how every one of us really has to decide who we are going to be. This book is an easy summertime escape, maybe with a nice fizzy drink or two. It's not complicated in writing or substance, and I don't think it's meant to be. It might be part statement, might be part humor, or maybe part satire. And maybe the author knows just a little bit of what she writes because apparently she lives somewhere in the neighborhood. Just take the book for what it is. And like I always say, read to the very end of the epilogue because in this case you might get a chuckle. Pineapple Street by Jenny Jackson.